women, and so on, is seen in the world. They are neither existent nor non-existent, yet they are spoken of. What you said, Mahamati, that all things exist because of the actual existence of speech, that doctrine fails. Speech is not practiced in all Buddha lands, either, Mahamati. Speech, Mahamati, is something created. In a certain Buddha land, Mahamati, the teaching is expounded by a steady gaze, in another, by gestures, in another, by frowning, in another, by movement of the eyes, in another, by the mouth, in another, by yawning, in another, by the sound of a cough, in another, by remembrance of lands, in another, by trembling. As in the sleepless world scented with perfume, the Buddha-land of Samantabhadra, the able one who reached reality as such, the perfectly enlightened Buddha, the great bodhisattvas attain acceptance of things as unoriginated, and other kinds of concentration, by gazing with unblinking eyes. Hence, for this reason, Mahamati, all things do not exist because of the actual existence of speech. And it is apparent, Mahamati, in this world, different species of beings such as worms and bees perform their own activities without speech. So it is said. Space, rabbit horn, and the son of a barren woman too are not existent, yet spoken of, such is imagination regarding things. A combination of causes and conditions, the ignorant conceive as production. Not knowing this principle, they wander in the storehouse of the triple world. Then Mahamati, the great bodhisattva, also said this to the Blessed One. To what, Blessed One, does the word permanent refer? The Blessed One said, to confusion. Mahamati, insofar as it is confusion, it appears even to the wise, as misconceived. It is like a mirage, a fire wheel, an optical illusion, a castle in the air, magic tricks, dreams, reflections, and the pupil of the eye are misconceived in the world. By those without knowledge, not by those with knowledge, and yet it is not that they do not appear. That confusion, moreover, Mahamati, may appear in many forms, but that doesn't make confusion impermanent. Why? Because it is apart from existence and non-existence. And how, Mahamati, is confusion apart from existence and non-existence? As the varied domains of all the ignorant, as the waves of the ocean and the water of the Ganges river are unseen in the perception of ghosts, for this reason, Mahamati, the existence of confusion does not obtain. Yet insofar as that water appears to others, hence non-existence doesn't obtain either. Thus confusion for the wise has nothing to do with misconception or non-misconception. Hence, Mahamati, confusion is permanent, due to description of appearances being uninterrupted. For description of appearances never becomes broken off while being imagined by mental formulation of various different appearances. Hence, for this reason, Mahamati, confusion is permanent. And how, Mahamati, is confusion a reality? For the reason, again, Mahamati, that the sense of misconception does not occur to the wise in regard to this confusion, nor the sense that there is no misconception. Neither are the wise cognizant of anything at all, Mahamati, outside this confusion, nor cognizant of a subject of ultimate knowledge. Whatever it is the ignorant say, it is not the talk of the wise. That confusion, moreover, being imagined in terms of misconception and no misconception, produces two classes, the class of the wise and the class of unenlightened ordinary people. The class of the wise, furthermore, Mahamati, takes on three forms, by division into listeners, solitary illuminates, and Buddhas. How, then, Mahamat, does confusion produce the class of the vehicle of listeners as it is being conceived by the unenlightened? That means as it is entered into by immersion in particular and generic descriptions, it is conducive to the class of the vehicle of listeners. Thus, Mahamati, that confusion produces the class of the vehicle of listeners. Then how, Mahamati, does that same confusion produce the class of the vehicle of solitary illuminates as it is being conceived? By disconnection from immersion in particular and common characteristics of that very confusion, Mahamati, it is productive of the class of the vehicle of solitary illuminates. Then how, Mahamati, does that same confusion, conceived by sages, produce the class of the vehicle of Buddhas? It means by realizing it is only what the subjective mind perceives, being conceived in terms of non-existence of external things, it produces the class of the vehicle of Buddhas. This is why there is class, Mahamati, this is the meaning of class. Confusion being conceived by the unenlightened refeeing various things, moreover, Mahamati, produces the class of the vehicle of mundane life and death, maintaining that this is so, and not otherwise. Hence, for this reason, Mahamati, confusion is conceived by the unenlightened in terms of a diverse objectivity. But is not a thing, yet not nothing. That same confusion, Mahamati, not being formulated, occurring without the wise taking things to be self-existent, a distorted impression in the mind, intellect, and cognitive consciousness, the confusion of the wise is hence called verity. So it is said, Mahamati, verity is free from thought. The meaning illustrated by this same statement is expressed by me in terms of freedom from fictions, detachment from all fictions. Mahamati said, is confusion there, blessed one, or not? The blessed one said, it is there like an illusion, Mahamati, confusion is not there as appears. If, Mahamati, confusion were there as appears, immersion in things would be unchecked. This would be like conditional origination, like caused origination according to religions and philosophies. Mahamati said, if, blessed one, confusion is an expression of illusion, then it will become a cause of other confusion. The blessed one said, illusion, Mahamati, is not the cause of confusion, since it is not harmful, for illusion, Mahamati, does not bring on harm. While unformulated, moreover, Mahamati, illusion takes place through the support of other people's knowledge, not through the support of distorted impressions in one's own imagination. It does not bring on harm. Whatever comes from obsession, Mahamati, is only delusion by mental views of the ignorant, not of the wise. So it is said, one who is wise does not see confusion, nor reality therein. Confusion too would be reality, were reality therein. If a sign occurs after confusion is cleared away, that too would be its confusion, just as darkness is unclear. Furthermore, Mahamati, illusion is not non-existent. The illusion-like nature of all phenomena is due to the semblance of identity. Mahamati said, is the illusion-like nature of all phenomena because of the characteristic of immersion in various illusions, or because of the characteristic of cause of immersion in what is not so? For if, blessed one, the illusion-like nature of all phenomena is due to the character of immersion in various illusions, unfortunately, blessed one, things are not like illusion. Why is that? Because it would be due to causeless perception of various appearances of form. For there is no cause at all. Blessed one, by which form appears in a multitude of diverse characteristics like illusion. Hence, for this reason, blessed one, things are not like illusion because of similarity to immersion in diverse illusory appearances. The blessed one said, all phenomena, Mahamati, are not like illusion because of similarity to immersion in diverse illusory appearances, rather, Mahamati, all phenomena are like illusion because they are not as they seem, like flashing lightning. Just as a streak of lightning dissolves instantly, seen and gone, yet is still perceived by the innocent, in the same way, Mahamati, all things appearing as subjectively imagined in the absence of discernment are not as perceived through immersion in descriptions of form. So it is said, illusion is not non-existent, being is spoken of from similarity to existence. They are like flashing lightning, not as they seem, therefore noted as like illusion. Mahamati further said, it has been said by the Blessed One that all things are unoriginated and like illusions, but your so saying, blessed one, results in the fault of contradicting your previous statement, expressing the non-origination of things in terms of being like illusion. The blessed one said, no, Mahamati, my expressing the non-origination of things as being like illusion is not at fault for contradicting the previous statement. Why? Through understanding origination and non-origination are contents of subjective thought objects, due to perception of the non-occurrence of external existence or non-existence of the real or unreal. Mahamati, the fault of contradicting the previous statement does not result. Rather, Mahamati, it is said that all things are unoriginated, like illusion, for the purpose of refuting the instantaneous origination argued by dogmatists. For groups with hallowed delusion seek the origination of all things, real or unreal, not in relation to the various obsessions of their own imagination. But no alarm, Mahamati, occurs to me. Hence it is for this reason, Mahamati, that the very term non-origination is designated. The teaching of becoming, moreover, Mahamati, is for the purpose of mastering mundane existence, and for the purpose of fending off nihilism. Mastery of mundane existence is done by seizing upon the word becoming in order to embrace the diverse situations my disciples are in due to their occupations. By pointing out the characteristics of the illusory self-existence of things, Mahamati, for the purpose of ceasing characterization of things as self-existent on the part of naive ordinary people whose minds have alighted upon the features of false ideas, who have not ascertained that these are only objects of subjective thought, who are immersed in the description of origination as the action of cause and condition, I teach that all phenomena are illusory and dream-like in nature. Then naive ordinary people with minds engrossed in the features of false views, will divert themselves and others from perception of the state of all phenomena as they are. The perception of the state of all phenomena as they are, Mahamati, means realizing they are only what is perceived by one's own mind. So it is said. The non-existence of cause in non-origination is a restraint of mundanity. One should see, not imagine, appearances as like illusion. Furthermore, Mahamati, we will describe bodies of names, words, and expressions, by careful regard to which bodies of names, words, and expression great bodhisattvas who follow the words and expressions according to meaning will soon realize supreme perfect enlightenment, and then will enlighten all people. Now then, Mahamati, the name body means the object for which a name is created, that body is the thing. Body is not different in meaning from substance. This, Mahamati, is the body of a name. A word body, furthermore, Mahamati, is the intent, the actual being of the body meant by a word. It is not different in meaning from conc illusory understanding. This, Mahamati, is my explanation of the body of the word. The body of expression, furthermore, Mahamati, is that by which the indication of names and words comes about. Expression is not different in meaning from sign, description, perception, representation. Also, Mahamati, the word body means the usage that functions as a word. A name, then, spells out a designated identity. Expression, then refers to short, long, and lengthened syllables. Bodies of words, moreover, Mahamati, get the concept of word body from creatures who walk in lines, like elephants, horses, humans, wild animals, domestic animals, cattle, buffalo, goats, sheep, and so on. Name and expression, furthermore, Mahamati, belong to the four immaterial clusters. What is considered spoken by name is a name. What is considered expressed by its own description is expression. This, Mahamati, is a definition of name and word of the bodies of names, words, and expressions. You should examine this. Hence it is said, the ignorant who are of poor intelligence stick to expression, to a body of words, and especially to names, like elephants in a quagmire. Also, Mahamati, due to defect in reasoning, those in the future and in the present who think wrongly with badly developed minds, asked by the knowledgeable about the formula of duality of extremes apart from the descriptions of notions of oneness and otherness, both and neither, will say to the questioners, this is not an issue, this is not grounded, meaning that impermanence is other than form and so on, and yet not other, and so nirvana vis-a-vis mental formation, description vis-a-vis characteristic, what is endowed with qualities vis-a-vis the qualities, material vis-a-vis elements, perception vis-a-vis the perceptible. Particles to sand, practitioners to knowledge. Questioned with such formulas of unanalyzed mutual definition, Mahamati, they will say what has not been distinguished should be settled by the Blessed One. But then those deluded persons will not know how the realized ones, the able, the perfectly enlightened, refrain from exposition in order to prevent a state of fear in people from lack of understanding in hearers. The unanalyzed are not discoursed upon by those who arrive at reality in order to exclude dogmatic views. For dogmatists, Mahamati, are those who say life is the body, or life is other than the body, and so on, proclaiming unanalyzed doctrines. For the unanalyzed, Mahamati, belong to dogmatists confused in their proofs, not in my exposition. In my exposition, Mahamati, detached from grasped and grasper, imagination does not occur. How can there be reservation for them? Reservation is for those who are immersed in the grasped and grasper, Mahamati, whose minds have not ascertained these are only subjective percepts. By analysis through four-step questioning, Mahamati, the realized ones, the able ones, the perfectly enlightened, teach people the truth. I have made reservation for instruction of people with immature faculties at a different time, but it is not reservation for those with mature faculties. Furthermore, Mahamati, apart from action and actor all phenomena do not originate, because of having no creator. That is why it is said all phenomena are unoriginated. And for what reason, Mahamati, are all phenomena void of inherent existence? Insofar as the unreality of particular and generic definitions is not ascertained by those reflecting with subjective understanding, hence it is said that all phenomena lack inherent existence. Then for what reason, Mahamati, are all phenomena impossible to seek or dismiss? Insofar as the appearance of the particular and the general is not found by being sought and not gotten rid of by being dismissed, hence, for that reason, Mahamati, all phenomena are beyond seeking or dismissing. And for what reason, Mahamati, are all phenomena not destroyed? Because of the unreality of an appearance of inherent existence of things, all phenomena are impossible to apprehend. That is why it is said all phenomena are not destroyed. Then why, Mahamati, are all phenomena said to be impermanent? Because there is no permanence in the occurrence of appearances, thus all phenomena are said to be impermanent. Then why, Mahamati, are all phenomena permanent? Impermanence is permanent due to the non-existence of anything that has occurred or not occurred in appearance only. Therefore it is said that all phenomena are permanent. So it is said. Exposition is of four kinds, one part is inquiry. Then analysis, reservation, and refuting. Hallowed dogma. For the non-origination of both reality and unreality is related by the Sankhya and Vaisheshika. The unanalyzed are all elucidated by them. Inherent existence is not ascertained by those pondering intellectually. So they are called inexpressibles, without inherent nature. Then Mahamati, the great bodhisattva, also said this to the Blessed One, let the Blessed One indicate to me the definition of the principles distinguishing the course of entry into the stream of stream enterers, by which definition of the principles distinguishing the source of stream enterers entry into the stream I and other great bodhisattvas, familiar with the characteristics of the principles distinguishing the course of stream enterers. Entry into the stream, knowing the formulas defining the means to successive states of returning once, not returning, and sainthood, may then teach people, so as, having cleared the two forms of selflessness and the two obstructions, having passed from stage to the goal, having attained the domain that is the inconceivable goal of those who arrive at reality as such, like wish-fulfilling jewels, they may become reliances for all people, that they may be dependable for usefulness to the whole of life in all conditions. The Blessed One said, then listen, Mahamati, and take it to heart, accurately and aptly, I will tell you. Very well, Blessed One, so saying, Mahamati, the great Bodhisattva, listened to the Blessed One. The Blessed One said this to him, there are three distinctions, Mahamati, in stream enterer's realization of entry into the stream. What three? Lesser, middling, and superior. Of them, Mahamati. The lesser are born at most 7 times, the middling attain complete. Nirvana after 3 to 5 existences, the highest attain complete nirvana in that very lifetime. But 3 ties, Mahamati, also occur in these 3, weak, middling, and excessive. What are the 3 ties? The notion of a real body, uncertainty, and grasping rules of conduct. These 3 ties, Mahamati, by a process of replacement by better alternatives, become productive of the worthiness of saints. Now then, Mahamati, the notion of a real body is of 2 kinds, inborn and imagined, like independent existence imagined of what is dependent. Just as immersion in diverse imagined natures takes place due to supposition of inherent existence in what is relative, without real being or non-being actually there or not there because of being imagination of what doesn't exist, it is therefore imagined by the naive through immersion in the various appearances of inherent existence, as is a mirage by wild animals. The notion of a real body imagined by a stream enterer, Mahamati, has been built up by long-term immersion due to lack of knowledge. And it disappears through non-existence of grasping of it on account of the selflessness of personality. As for a stream enterer's inborn notion of a real body, furthermore, Mahamati, because of the equality of the bodies of self and others, being characterized by 4 clusters and physical form, the origination of form consisting of elements, the form of things being considered as having no aggregation due to the character of mutual causality, a stream enterer's notion of a real body disappears through perception of the partial views of reality and unreality. And so it is that passion does not occur to one in whom the notion of a real body has disappeared. This, Mahamati, is the definition of the notion of a real body. As for the definition of uncertainty, Mahamati, through accurate insight from realization of the truth attained, and due to disappearance of the former imaginations associated with the 2 notions of a real body, uncertainty about truths does not occur. And one does not hold other teachers' views either, having cleared away impurity. This, Mahamati, is the definition of uncertainty for one who has entered the stream. Why, then, Mahamati, does one who has entered the stream not grasp conduct? It means one does not grasp because of accurate perception of the characteristics of situations in which suffering occurs. Grasping, Mahamati, means unenlightened ordinary people hoping for physical bliss by rules of conduct, austerity and asceticism, wish for the arising of a state of well-being. But not grasping, they thus transform it into a better goal of first-hand realization. They adhere to elements of conduct that express the characteristics of the state without impulse, free of false imagining. This, Mahamati, is the definition of a stream enterer's grasping of rules of conduct. Passion, animosity, and delusion do not occur, Mahamati, in a stream enterer in whom the 3 ties have disappeared. Mahamati said passion has been spoken of in many forms by the Blessed One, which of those has disappeared in this case? The Blessed One said, the faculty of desire for objects of sense, lust for union with a woman, pleasant in the present, is a cause of a miserable life in the future. One's passion is not aroused by flirtation, embracing, kissing, hugging, smelling scents, glances, and looks. Why? Because of having attained a state of bliss in concentration. So this disappears, not the desire to attain nirvana. Then what, Mahamati, is the definition of the result realized by the once returner? It means the imagination of appearances of material characteristics occurs once. Because of the non-existence of the characteristics described by notions of indicative signs, through accurate perception of the features of the processes of meditation, having come once to this world one will enter complete nirvana to make an end of misery. That is why it is called returning once. Then how, Mahamati, does one become a non-returner? Because the false imagination associated with notional errors pertaining to the